I'm Bryony and this is a lesson about planets. So this is perfect if you are in years 3, 4, 5 or 6 and you are looking at the solar system. And this lesson is going to have 2 parts to it. So the first part we're going to be looking at the size of planets, and that's why I've got this fruit here. And the second part we're going to be looking at the distances of each planet from the sun. And we're going to show that by measuring them out and placing them on our own little solar system mobile. Let's get straight to it. So we know there are 8 planets, not 9, no, 8 planets. That's because Pluto is no longer considered a planet, it's a dwarf planet. And so to remember our planets, lots of people use acronyms, and the one I used to use was my very easy method, just speeds up naming planets. And if I could remember that rhyme and I could remember the first letter of each of those words, I could use them to remember the names of the planets. The problem with that one is it has Pluto at the end of it. So a new acronym for you is my very excited mother just served us nachos. So if you can remember that, that might help you with remembering your planets. And 4 of the planets are considered to be rock planets and 4 of them are considered to be gas ones. And if you can remember the rhyme, the first 4, so Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars, they are your rock planets. And then Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, they are your gas planets. So that's a good thing to remember, those 2 differences. But let's look at their relative sizes. So this orange here, we're going to say this is Earth. This is what the size that we are in the solar system. Now the sun is huge. The sun takes up 99.86% of the solar system. So that is just so big that I can't even really imagine it. So we're going to imagine the sun is over here, and I'm going to move my art and craft bits just for a minute. So imagine the sun is taking up the rest of the room, and the earth we're going to put about here. So let's go here. Now Mercury, do you think Mercury is a small planet or a big planet? Small planet? You're right. But how small? Did you think it was going to be this small? So this is a peppercorn. This is Mercury's the smallest planet, but also the closest to the sun. So I'm going to put that here at the end of the table, closest to the sun, but very, very tiny. I'll pop it back here a bit. Then next up, we've got, what is it? Venus. And I've chosen a small green tomato for Venus, but it might even be a little bit smaller than this, more like a cherry size. So that would go next. Up next is Earth, which we've already got ready. Then Mars. Which bit of fruit's gonna be Mars? It's the blueberry. Quite small Mars next to us here. And then up next, Jupiter. It's the melon. So Jupiter is a huge planet, and it must look even bigger next to a tiny little Mars here. So that's our next planet away from the sun. Then our orange or a grapefruit. So if you want to do this at home, you can choose your own fruits, but try and get ones that are roughly these sizes. So this is a really large orange. So that's our next one, that's Saturn, which has a nice ring going around it. And then an apple for Uranus. And last but by no means least, we've got Neptune as a lime. Okay, so these are the relative sizes. And then you're going to imagine the sun taking up all of this space. But we know that in space, planets aren't just in a nice, neat little line like this. They orbit the sun, they go around. And so it looks a little bit like this. So I've got my yummy celebration tin. Imagine this is the sun, and let's take Venus. And it's going to be rolling all the way around, orbiting the sun, constantly going around. Okay? Taking a long time, but that's what's happening. Brilliant. That's our first bit done. Have a go. Look what's in your fruit bowl. You could change some of these items up for just things that you've got around the house, but it's a really good visual way for you to try and remember the order and the sizes of the planets. Right, up next, a bit of arts and crafts. Yay! So we're going to make a little mobile, and all you're going to need is 1 paper plate, some scissors, some string or cotton, pencil's always handy, and maybe some colouring crayons to colour in. I quite like a highlighter, and a bit of blue tack will be handy, and I think that's everything you're going to need, but let's do it together. Okay, here's your mobile. Step number 1, super easy. Decorate this piece of card as if it's something out of space. So stars, planet, well, no, don't draw any planets. That's to come. But I'm going to get my highlighter and do lots of lovely stars all over it. Look at my solar system plate. Okay, you're going to do yours better than this, but this is just to show you. So step 1, decorate your plate with some stars. You might want to paint it, kind of purples and blues, or you could put some glitter on. Oh, wish I had some glitter. Step number 2, turn it over. Make a little dot in the middle, and then from there you're going to do a big swirl going all the way out, so it's going to kind of help create this. Okay, so starting in the middle, doesn't need to be perfect, big swirl all the way out to the edge. Okay. Step number 3, get your scissors and cut it out. Okay, and if I'm going too fast for you, you can just pause the video and then come back to it. So you should have something that looks like this. Place it down, and now is the maths bit. Now we're going to be marking on where each planet sits in relation relative to the sun. So we're going to imagine the sun's at the top, and we're going to place our planets by drawing them on around the edges. So to do that, this is where your piece of string will come in handy. And you go, oh, forgot the most important ingredient, a ruler. How would you do this otherwise? So get your ruler, and your first planet that you're going to do, we're going to start from the furthest away this time. So we're going to start with Neptune. And Neptune is, not in real life, 60 centimetres away from the sun. So that's 2 30-centimetre rulers. So your piece of string, you see against the white, looks about this long. And then it's quite handy if you put your piece of blue tack on the end and put that in the middle here. You're now going to finger walk that piece of string all the way around, following that swirl. I have to do it down on the table really. Just one step, and then keep moving it around. It doesn't need to be perfect. This is just going to give us a rough guide, a rough idea of where each planet sits. So you're going to follow that string all the way around, and then when you get to the end, you're going to do a little marker, and that's where your first planet away, your furthest away planet, Neptune, is going to sit. So mine comes to there. I'm going to get rid of my piece of string, thank you, over there, and then I'm going to do a little marker. And also, you might want to think about, when you do your little mark, okay, well, Neptune, wait, which fruit size was that? I mean, I actually can't even remember. Neptune was the lime, so that's kind of medium-sized planet. Okay, so do that on there. And you can come back and make your planets look bolder and prettier afterwards, but let's get the main bit mapped out. So then we're going to move on to our next planet, and our next planet, second furthest away from the sun, Uranus, 54 centimetres. Get your string, measure it on your ruler. So there's 30 centimetres, mark it at the end, pick it up, go back onto here, 30, I need to get to 54, so I'm going to go from here. So 30, add on 10 is 40, add on another 10 is 50, and then 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, mark it with your fingernail, that's where it is. Put the centre bit in the middle of your swirl and finger walk it out. Or actually, I've just come up with a new technique. You can kind of just, oh, this is easier. I love learning when you find new methods. If you just gently drop the, if I get my body out of the way, instead of doing my finger walk technique, which I was trying to teach you, if you just gently drop the string down, it will just fall down in a circle. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, 54 centimetres. Okay, so this should be pretty close to the planet that you've just drawn. And Uranus was, in our fruit, an apple. So a little bit bigger than that one, but quite close to the one you just did, quite close to Neptune. Okay, draw that on. Let's keep going. Next one, Saturn, 50 centimetres. So you're going to have to get really good at your measuring here. Finger on the ruler. Hold it down, hold it down. 30 centimetres, 10, 10, 20, and 30 centimetres. There we go. Pop it in the middle. Switch it all the way around. And this is going to be, yep, right next to, Saturn's going to be right next to Uranus because it's only 4 centimetres further away on our relative scale. And if you want to know about sizes, this was the orange, so bigger than the other two. And you could also label these. You could write the names of the planets. So I don't know if you can see, but on mine, I've done in my 3 different colours, those 3 splodges are my first 3 planets that I've done. And I'm going to keep on going until I've done all the planets. So up next, we've got Jupiter, 44 centimetres. 30, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. Mark it with the finger, drop it down, swirl it around. Use the right end, Bryony. I mean, I said you don't have to be too accurate, but we are measuring and it is math, so you are supposed to be accurate with that. So just do your best. I'm really pleased I've come up with this new technique. Here it is. Okay, so what colour should I do this one? You can look up on the internet the colours that some of the planets are represented by. But this is Jupiter, and Jupiter was our massive melon. So you're going to draw this one as quite a big planet. Jupiter is 44 centimetres away from the Earth on our scale down solar system move on. Okay. And up next, Mars, 40 centimetres. So this one's going to be really close. So there's 30 and 10. Nice and easy. 30, 40. Round you go. And there it is, right next to you. Mars right next to Jupiter, pretty close by. And Mars, remember, was the blueberry, so really small. Tiny little planet. Not as small as Mercury, but pretty small. Okay, you're doing really well. Keep going. I know this one takes a little bit of time. Earth, yay, let's do us. 34 centimetres for Earth. 30, hold it there. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the middle, round we go. Here we are. So quite close, and Earth's orange. So yeah. Last 2 to go. Venus, 30 centimetres. That's nice and easy. That's just the length of one ruler. There we go. In the middle, there it goes. There it is. Venus, what Venus is a little bit smaller. There we go. And last but by no means least is our tiny peppercorn planet, that's Mercury, is 24 centimetres from the Sun. 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's in the middle, round we go, there he is. Tiny little dot. Okay, so once you've done all your planets on your mobile, I don't know whether you can see the light, but it's going to look a little bit like this with your planets going round. You can label them up. I think I might do that with my pencil afterwards. But just to finish it off, you can either make a little hole and put your string through, or if you get the blue tack and you just squidge it in at the end of your piece of thread and you put it in the middle, that should be, just for a little while you're learning about the solar system, will be enough to hold it. And so you can show this to people, you can talk through the planets, you can tell them any interesting facts you found out about them. There's so many interesting things on the internet you can find out about the solar system. Brian Cox is doing special lessons on BBC Bitesize about space, so you could check some of those out. And yeah, have a go at remembering your acronyms, so you remember the names of the planets in the right order, and have a go at perhaps getting some bits of fruit or things around your house to help you understand the different sizes of the planets relative to one another. And remember, the Sun takes up 99.86% of the whole solar system. What? Right, that's it from me. I'll be back with more lessons soon. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you then. Bye.